All right, welcome back. We're going to talk entertainment now, and I'm joined here by an actor who, like they say in her play, she's happy the work. Linda Osifo, how are you doing?
Hi, Nebuka.
My big sister.
To be here. Koyo. Woye.
Let's speak English so that they will understand. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good to see you.
Awesome.
How's Nollywood treating you?
Well, Nollywood is, how is it treating me? Treating me well. A good journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did this journey start for you? Because I know I remember that around the time you moved back.
Yes.
I think that was when we met.
Yes.
You were you went to school in Canada, stayed there for a bit, and decided to
Not
move.
that I went to school in Canada. I lived in Canada.
You lived in Canada, okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it had a starting point because it's a journey that I felt I had always been on.
Yeah.
In terms of the entertainment. But when it started in terms of a career was in 2013 when I decided I was going to come back to Lagos.
Was that always the plan, to be an actor? Or when did the switch happen?
The plan could not have been to be an actor because I have parents who want you to be a nurse or a doctor.
So what did you study? What were you supposed to be?
I was supposed to be a psychologist. Okay. And that's what I studied. I studied psychology, graduated with that, and I said, I really don't want to do this. Yeah. I've gotten the degree, but this is not what gives me that easy flow. So
you just started figuring it out and then acting happened?
I figured it out a very long time ago. Okay. I just had to make my decision, and that was after school. And at that age, I was out of my parents' house, and that's the real world.
How did they take it?
Okay, let me be honest. My initial plan was supposed to be 2 months. I told my parents I was coming here just 2 months. And that was my ticket duration because I was supposed to come back for my graduation ceremony. And came down to Nigeria, saw Lagos. and I
it was
knew,
so sweet.
Sweet. I suffered. I knew it was going to be a journey that 2 months was not going to be enough. So.
How do they feel now?
They're praying for me every day. My parents are proud. My parents, it now makes sense to them. They can now understand why I wanted that decision. And a couple of years after the line, like we are now, they get to say, okay, it was a great one.
So coming back from, or like they say, I just got back, which was what you were at the time. Was it a blessing or a curse? Because Nollywood might be hard to figure out for you, but there's also a belief that, okay, because you are this shining who suddenly appeared from abroad, was it an easy entry for you, or did it make it harder?
I had my pros and I had my cons. There were sides where coming from that side was a blessing, which was my exposure and just the intellectual capacity that I had. But in terms of the industry, it wasn't such a blessing because every day, I don't understand, tone your accent. I had, break it down. So I had to adjust to the society that I'm coming back to, and that was a tough one.
What was the biggest surprise for you? And I ask this because there's a lot of misconceptions, or maybe there are facts about the industry. Things about skin color, for example, where they say, oh, you have to, if you're dark skinned, you might not get certain roles, or you might not be as favored.
Yes.
We hear these things a lot. Nobody knows if it's true or not. Did you get to witness or experience that?
I did go through my share. I went to auditions. I went to a lot of auditions, and based on the description, it was always someone who was supposed to be a fair complexion.
Yeah.
But I still went in and did my part.
What did you think of that? And is that still a thing?
Now, I wouldn't know if it's a thing because I had to take that off my mind. I just believed if I am good for whatever I am doing, my skin color or the shade or anything of such shouldn't be a factor. If somebody wants me and says she's good, there's nothing else we can do, then I'm breaking that barrier for me. And do I experience it now? I still do in certain things. I still do, but I don't let it toughen me up.
Did you ever go through for want of a better term, the Asaba initiation, if I can use that term? There's usually that's the real industry where you sort of hone your skills before you are not thrown into the cinema world. Did you have to go through that, and what was it like?
Okay, when I started, I had no journey. I had no direction. I was just taking opportunities that I felt could be an opportunity. I started off doing Asaba film. That was my first film. Well, in Asaba.
Yeah.
I tried it. I did 2 films. I came back to Lagos. I tried a couple of things, and now we're here. So
you had a short...
I've had a short experience with it, and I know what it is.
Yeah. Do you agree that it's one industry, or there's a difference in both sides?
There is a difference in both sides. Nollywood is large. Let's use it like that. Nollywood is large, and there are many genres that you can bring out of in Nollywood. It's a different industry, but I feel that the storylines really do touch more to the masses, which are what the people can feel.
Yeah, people seem to think that that's what Nollywood was built on, and all of that. But speaking of perceptions now, there's been a lot of talk recently, about Tampan, I think that's what they're called, and all the drama that's unfortunately come with Princess, the comedian, Iyabo Ojo, and all of that, about this young lady, 14-year-old, I believe, who was allegedly sexually assaulted by an actor. And now there's all of this talk about, we should handle it in-house. Don't expose, or I don't even know what the terms are. What do you think of that entire thing, especially what people now seem to perceive of what Nollywood's stance is on issues like this?
Such issues are a very controversial issue, and there's really not a one-way direction to it because it's so sensitive, and you have to make sure you sort of know what the problem is. So if we're talking about the whole child molestation issue, Ibuka, it's a very sensitive issue, and I really don't know what to even say about it. I don't.
Do you agree that, the man who was arrested,
yes,
who is now out on bail, I believe.
So I've heard.
Do you think the issue should be handled by the courts or by Nollywood practitioners like we've heard?
It's a court issue. It's taken to the court. And I believe there's laws that demands how things are done. Yeah. And the law should take its course.
Now, sexual molestation has also been, I feel like I'm just, digging into, but it's also been a talk that's happened a lot with Nollywood, where we've seen a lot of interviews by ladies in the industry saying, I was a director or a producer or a filmmaker, tried certain things with me and all of that, and these are things that people don't necessarily speak up about. Even when they do, they never name names. We see the whole Me Too movement happening now internationally. How do you see Nollywood now from when you started with issues like that?
Well, let's start off with sexual molestation. It's a problem in every industry. However, speaking on Nollywood, it's a problem that I feel we need to know what, we need to understand what's happening. Who are the people that's causing this? Is it from the director sections? Or is it from the producer? Could it be also an actor? The truth is, it can be anyone. And there just isn't a right solution to help anybody, especially when the victims are females. And, when ladies come out and say these things happen to them, you get response like, what's the proof? Or worse, you get response of shame. And that's usually I think that's our problem in society.
Have you ever experienced that?
I have. And I say this, and I say to even upcoming actors especially, you need to know what you want. Now, when you're very eager to get to a certain stage, you can likely be victims of such because they see that's a person they can prey on. But when you don't have that issue and you get someone who forcefully take advantage of you, you need to report that to the right firm.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite heavy. But it's a personal issue, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But let's talk about you now and the industry and what's we are seeing now. There's a term I see a lot on social media called Instagram actors. You guys have a huge following. You guys are very glossy on the social media. And there's a belief that, it's almost like you're trading that for the real art form of acting. So the more followers you have, the more likely you are to be cast in a movie because the director is not going to use you or the producer to sort of market their films and all of that. Do you think how important is social media now for an actor? And your success, and do you think that takes away from how good you are with the art form?
Okay, first question: how is social media important? Social media is important generally because it's visual that we live in the digital world, and to be able to interact with people outside, it's through that form of social media. And is it very important in terms of success? No. The talent is still what will sustain anyone. However, in terms of the marketing, it does calculate with the numbers because the more you're able to reach out to individuals who are in other diverse nations, the better it is for you as that business.
So do you intentionally use that as well?
I wouldn't intentionally use that, and I wouldn't say that's intentionally done. It's a fan base, right? So the more you do work, the more your works are concrete, the more people follow you. So it's going to naturally build.
Yeah.
If you have numbers and you don't have that, what's the right word for it? That concrete talent, which is what will solidify you for the years to come, the numbers will be there, but the jobs will not come.
So do you think it's a fair or unfair judgment?
The talent speaks for itself at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
It's not something I would say it's a fair or unfair judgment. Marketing is very important, and marketing happens with numbers. The more people you have, the more you can market to them.
Yeah.
But the talent still speaks for itself at the end of the day.
What's the hardest I don't want to say criticism now, but, there's perceptions, which we've talked about a lot, of what actors are. What do you think has been the hardest for you to deal with? Yes. Is it being a woman in the industry? Is it being... in fact, let me focus on that woman one now, because a very funny thing as well that people talk about is, why does it seem like the women seem to do better than the men?
Yes.
Why do men and women start at the same time? Suddenly the woman owns a house, owns cars, and the guys are still at a certain level, but they get paid the same. Sometimes the guys even get paid more. How do you handle that, and what is that about even?
Now I'm going to give you a very simple example. As a man compared to a woman, I have more options to get more jobs than you. I can advertise a hair. I don't think you can definitely do that. Maybe you can, but I can advertise more shoes. I can advertise more shoes. The clothes that I would be able to advertise would be so much more because the ratio of men and women is about, I would say, 1 to 3. So we have more women population than anything. So when a woman gets more jobs that will create more avenues for her, it can seem a bit not so balanced in terms of our industry. I'll use myself as an example. I've become a brand ambassador to skincare brand, right? And that's an industry where most men are not able to conquer. Why? Because who are the customers? I don't think we're going to be buying creams that would soothe your skin. It's the woman that will buy it for you, if I'm right. So that's an example there.
So you have more opportunities to make money. You
Absolutely.
think that's really why?
That's what I see.
Yeah.
Is that why? I don't know, but that's how I see it.
So when you get, because I know you bought a house, congratulations.
My family house.
Your family house.
My family house.
I think a couple of months ago, and I remember seeing the post. And, of course, there were some interesting comments. Let me use the word interesting. When you see those kind of comments, how do you react to them if you do?
Well, I've come to understand this sort of society I'm in. Having both outside world and the world here, I've seen that it's a different world from here. And, we have this mindset that most women can't succeed. So in my kind of case, I rejoice for my family blessing. But I got to see that people feel that women themselves can't do this. And that's a problem, Ebuka. That's a big problem because I may not have been able to achieve that myself, but there are many women who are doing such alone. Many.
How has Nollywood been good to you? Would you say we used to hear a lot about the fact that Nollywood doesn't pay well. It's probably changing now because we see a lot of people living, much better.
Yes.
Thankfully. Are you happy, first of all, with where Nollywood is now, and especially with the pay?
Nollywood has lots of opportunities to still grow because we're not where we should be. Let's put that in. We definitely are not where we used to be. 20 years ago, when you look at Nollywood, things have changed. Now we have Netflix and, a lot of things are changing and the society is literally having more opportunities than before. You have people who are influencers that never used to be. So the avenues for actresses or for people in the industry to make money is so much more at large than it used to be.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference you've seen in Hollywood since you joined? When maybe there was a switch?
The biggest difference I've seen in Nollywood? I don't know, because I've just been focusing on a lane and keep going and keep going. So I think as things are changing, I'm adjusting to what's going on.
Yeah.
So the biggest difference that I would say should be just in terms of the marketing world, things have changed in the digital world. We used to have DVD, now things are very digital. I thought that was going to be Nollywood for a long time. Buy your disc, 100 naira.
The switch happened very
quickly.
Buy
your disc. But now it's 100 naira subscription online, and you can get more viewers to watch you within that same time.
Very well said. Let's talk Devil in Agbada now. First of all, that name is so interesting. And is it #1 in the box office now?
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How was that experience?
Okay. Devil in Agbada. That's how you got to put it. It was a very different role because I got some action, fighting things going on. Now, Ebuka, Devil in Agbada it's a movie that will make you see Nollywood differently. I say that in the sense of the production, the acting, the tricks that was done. A whole lot of things were very, very different. And, when we now have movies that reach up to #1 in box office, you can definitely understand that the marketing strategy in that aspect is very, very different.
And it's very important.
Very, very different. So we started marketing before the movie came out. Everyone knew what they wanted Devil in Agbada to become. So from the beginning, while we were filming, till now that it's out, it was all marketing.
Yeah. Has that been your most challenging role?
Till date, yes, it is. It really is. We fought. We shot very late nights. And it's a role that I had to sort of have multiple characters. A character who broke down, a character who fought, who literally had to fight, and a character who had to be a sexual image just to get what she wanted, which was revenge.
See how she said it, revenge. Congratulations, man. That's very good.
Thank you.
Is there anyone you've not worked with that you'd like to work with?
RMD.
I
worked with Mr. Richard.
Why so? Or why him?
Why wouldn't he? well, that's the question, right? I've worked with a lot of great actors, but in terms of a veteran like that, I haven't. Yeah. I would like to.
Is this something you would make happen? Because a lot of you now tend to go into production and doing your own thing.
I would like to.
Is that something you're looking at, production?
Maybe in years to come, but not anytime soon. I do have other things that I produce, which would be considered short film YouTube / but that's not a production in terms of films.
Yeah.
I would like to give myself more years so I can gain more experience.
Yeah.
When that time comes, if I don't work with RMD by then, Ebuka, I will make it happen.
Who have you worked with on the flip side now that you've been most excited about?
Okay, recently. Well, I've worked with AY, I've worked with... Recently...
Everybody?
I've worked with a lot, No one yet, except RMD still on the
RMD, please, pick our call. So let's make this happen. Congratulations once again on
Thank
a
you,
Devil in
Ebuka.
Agbada. But
Thank
final
you.
note now, what should we be looking forward to? I mean, the end of the year is usually when Nollywood suddenly becomes, and December is special.
Yes.
Anything else you're looking out for?
Absolutely. I may not be able to say it in details. However, look out for December. Watch out. December is still
Give
a
us a
long way.
hint, just a bit of a hint.
Let's just say some great things that will be internationally out there. Yeah. And the first ever to happen. So watch out.
I don't like this, your quotes. You're not giving me enough juice. First ever what?
The first ever something.
Is it a movie? Is it a series?
Yes. I may not be able to say all that yet, but it's a production
Okay.
that's coming out.
Actually, besides acting, is there anything else you do
Yes.
outside of acting?
Well, we have a real estate company, but that's internationally in Canada.
Okay.
But in terms of Nigeria, I'm full-time with my acting business, 24/7. And I model. And I look beautiful.
And you make money.
And I make, by the grace of God.
Is any acting going to be happening in Canada?
Well, have I had one in Canada recently? I'm supposed to this year. We're working on that by November period. So we're looking towards that.
Awesome stuff, man. Thank you very much,
Thank
man.
you,
And all the best.
Ebuka.
Congratulations
Thank
once
you.
again on the
Thank
movie
you.
out.
Thank
Go see
you.
Devil in Agbada.
Devil in Agbada.
It's in cinemas everywhere, I believe.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here
Thank
today.
you.
We'll take another break. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.